All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to episode 8 of our collaborative playthrough of Fish by Magnetic Scrolls. Those that are here, if you'd like to introduce yourselves and let us know your names. Unmute.
Hi, I'm Rosie.
Hi, I'm Woody.
Hello, I'm Lee.
Hi, I'm Smundis, and we have a guest.
Hi, I'm Elisa.
And hi, I'm Mike.
All right, it's everyone, I think. Thanks for that. Are you all right, Lee? You seem to be struggling to unmute yourself.
It's like we've never done this before.
Yeah. Is it the big space bar button? Is that the one? All right. So should we just do a quick recap? Who would like to go into detailed lengths of what we got up to last week?
Well, I volunteered to give an update.
Mm-hmm.
That's because there really isn't much detail to go into. We got on a train, ended up somewhere else, got out of the train, and then went shopping and went to the pub and saw a film in the cinema.
Yep, that's about the size of it.
Yeah.
We also bought a few things.
Yeah. Not that I can remember what they are.
So we bought a snifter in the pub, which turns out to be what passes for alcohol in Hydropolis, and consists of basically a mask of gas. I think these fish beings suck down pure oxygen or something in snifters to get inebriated, let's say. We bought one and then gave it to Ernest Chubb, who we bumped into as well. So maybe we might need to get someone else inebriated. We also
know where there is a whole gas bottle.
True. Yeah, so at some point we might need to get hold of that gas canister from behind the bar in the pub for some purpose. We also bought some earplugs because we thought they might come in useful. It then occurred to me when I was editing the podcast and looking back over the previous episode that the point where the police patrol fish draws up outside our apartment building, and we kind of momentarily lose connection to the host parasite interface. We thought that was because of it was the authority, it was the police, and somehow we that they might figure out who we are. But actually, on rereading the text, I think it's because of the loud noise from the siren and the flashing lights. That's specifically what it says made us feel weird. And so the fact that we then found some earplugs for sale and some sunglasses for sale makes me think that maybe there is a location that is very loud and bright and flashy. And maybe if we have the earplugs and the sunglasses, we can enter that location without losing the connection to the host parasite interface. I'm speculating, but certainly when we went into the police station and had a conversation with the dogfish sergeant there, who doesn't appear to know anything at all about crime, we had no negative reaction to it. We had no issue with talking to an actual policeman. So I think it's the noise and the bright lights that caused the anomaly when we were outside the apartment earlier.
We also found our fish ton for sale.
We did.
In the second-hand shop, but didn't do anything with it. It doesn't seem to be. They weren't bothered that we knew that it had been stolen.
No, obviously, Steve, who runs both the pub and the second-hand goods store, is a fence, and he probably doesn't know who stole it either. Or he might know who stole it because he bought it from them, but he's probably not very inquiring as to where it came from in the first place. But yeah, that might be important. We don't know. I think that there were a few other things that we could acquire. There was
Yeah. In the other shops, there was in the second-hand shop there was also a radio case.
Mm-hmm.
And then the hardware shop, we could buy a hyperdriver and a screwdriver. And then in the clothing shop, along with the sunglasses, we could buy a tie for special occasions. Yep.
Yes. And that's exactly where we are. I've restored the game, so we're going to carry on from where we got to. We're in the clothes shop, and a tie is for sale. So, seeing as we don't have anything to do with it, I suggest that we don't actually buy it at this stage, but do what we were going to do last week and get on the next tube train.
Were the sunglasses here, or were they in a different shop?
Did we already buy them?
No, we didn't. They were in the clothes shop, weren't they?
Yeah, I've got them as in the clothes shop with the tie.
Oh, they are here. When I do a look, it says clothing shop. You can leave the shop by going south. A trendy pair of sunglasses are on sale. A tie is for sale. So
Seems
yes,
like to buy to test your theory.
Yeah.
Do we just want to try to buy everything that we can?
can do. I mean, we know we have a weight limit or an items limit, don't we? Because in the previous areas we've run out. We've had to drop things. So, but obviously sunglasses we can wear, so maybe they don't count so much. Let's try buying Okay, so if I say buy sunglasses, which is 2 words, which is as it's listed in the description, it says you can't see the sun here. So that's not good. Let's try buy glasses. With what? All right, fair enough. Glasses with Visa card. That will be 5 clams exactly, sir. You type in your fish identity number to authorize the debit. The assistant waits for authorization, then returns your card together with the dark glasses. Everything costs 5 clams. Okay. Wear glasses. You put on the dark glasses. All right, now I guess we look something like the image of the fish on the box.
If you now do a look, can we still see everything that we could see before wearing dark glasses?
Yeah, good point. Yes, we can.
I wonder whether you can wear the earplugs and whether that will affect anything.
Yeah.
Wear earplugs. You put on the earplugs. The earplugs don't work too well. You can still work out what people say.
That might just be an easy way to get around the problem of not having to have 2 bits of text for every location.
It's true. I mean, I've just done an exam in earplugs, and it says the earplugs reduce all types of loud noise to a bearable level. So I think they're smart earpieces rather than just, lumps of wax that go in your ear.
Okay, cool. Let's go catch a train.
Yeah, okay. So, south. In the plaza, as you arrive, Simon Tench greets you cheerfully. We don't know who this person is, but they might be a character. I did notice actually as well when I was editing that at one point Steve goes by quickly. And of course we didn't know who Steve was at the time, but that may be the same Steve that owns the pub and the second-hand store. Okay, southeast.
Poor guy's trying to do 2 jobs all at the same time. No wonder he's rushing about.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wasn't sure actually whether it was between the 2 places that he rushed past. That might be worth checking out. Or it might be worth just trying to keep up with him, see where else he goes. Anyway, southeast, Dace Road. You notice a guppy flounder around for a bit and then swim off. So, I think it's east from here to Shark Street, is it? Yep. Shark Street, and then... Is it southeast to Eelpout? The traffic on Shark Street is really busy, but eventually you notice a small gap and swim hastily across. Eelpout Underground Station. In the ticket hall, commuters are busily swimming up and down the access funnel which leads to the platform. The ticket counter stands in the centre with a clerk behind it. Northwest is an exit leading out onto Shark Street. Let's go down. You show your pass to the guard and go through. We're on the platform. Trains arrive quite frequently. Let's just wait for one. A rumbling comes from the tunnel and a train pulls into the station. As it comes to a halt, someone pushes you in the back, sending you onto the tracks. Brakes screech, but the train can't stop in time. It pulverizes your pathetic little body, sending you reeling through the dimensions. Goldfish Bowl. A tingle runs up and down your scales here. It's definitely not your vacation bowl. True, it does have gravel, ant eggs and pondweed, but then so has every goldfish bowl. The difference is you can see out of this bowl, and it doesn't have a tacky plastic castle. It looks like you're in a computer room of some kind, with terminals lining the walls. "You complete halibut," shouts Sir Playfair Panchax. He doesn't sound happy at all. "We warned you not to damage Dr. Roach's body. It was the only one who could save Hydropolis. The Finns have won and are out to get you. There is nothing we at Mission HQ can do. The good news is you've been sent back to the bowl. The bad news is that the dimensional warps have disappeared. It looks like you're in big trouble."
Oh.
Okay.
Whoa.
Is there a new image there?
There is a new image. We're looking out into a room. There's some tables with some computer terminals on them, and an open door at the back. There's a poster on the wall that says "The Prawn," and it looks like we can see the table, a bit of the table that we're sat on, and it says "How to debug your cod" on one of the books.
What are we supposed to do now?
I don't know.
If you do an inventory, are we carrying anything?
Your mouth is empty.
Okay.
I mean, obviously we can restore and go back.
Is there anything else in the goldfish bowl? Or...
No, there's nothing in the goldfish bowl. Apart from gravel, ant eggs and pondweed. Jump out of bowl. But a mere goldfish can't do that. The bowl rattles as someone strides over. "It's time for this little fish's last meal," says an ominous voice. Then the voice lowers and recites menacingly, "And I am become death, destroyer of worlds." Suddenly some ant eggs are dropped in.
So it was interesting when we did an inventory that it said your mouth is empty.
Oh, it did this before.
Oh, okay.
When we first arrived in the game, we did an inventory and it says our mouth is empty. But yes, I mean, maybe we can
What
hold
happens
something.
if we eat the eggs?
Shall I just eat one? Let's look at them. Examine eggs. It's a pity that ant eggs are all you've had to eat for the past week. Otherwise, they might look appetizing.
I mean, there's not much else to do than eat them, is there?
No, there isn't. I've said get eggs just to see if we can hold them in our mouth. It says you pick up the eggs in your mouth and can't help but eat them. Delicious. Okay. Let's wait. Time passes.
Can you dig around in the gravel?
Suddenly, the ant eggs start dissipating a pale pink solution. Oh no, it's an interdimensional espionage operative's worst nightmare. The dreaded pink anti-interdimensional espionage operative poison, guaranteed to kill not only an interdimensional espionage operative's host, but to trap him there forever. To put it bluntly, the guarantee hasn't run out. The poison gags your gills. You'll never see Sir Playfair or Mission HQ again. Your score is 256 out of 501. You have died. Do you want to quit or restart?
Oh God, well that's fairly conclusive, isn't it?
Okay.
Damn.
Well, that really was sudden death, I think, wasn't it? Like, we were just on the platform and someone pushed us in.
Harsh.
So, yeah, unfortunately, like in the other areas, when we failed, we went and started again. But it looks like in Hydropolis, when you fail, it's game over.
Well, we knew that we were already very late for that meeting, so
Yes.
it's not really surprising, I guess. So we don't want to reload where we were because we're already very late. Do you have a different save game from?
Yeah, I have one from when we first arrived. So, well, in fact, I have one from when we're still in the bowl before the first time we go there. So we could go. We can decide to leave the door open or not this time. Maybe try the alternative and we won't leave it open. But we could also go straight to the train station and just stay on the train until we get past Eelpout.
Remember to take the
the travel pass.
with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, of course, we don't know if that was sudden death. Simply just getting on a train at that station is always sudden death, or whether it was because we'd done something else or hadn't done something else.
Yeah, it could be that after a certain time, whichever station you get onto, that will happen. That's possible. I mean, I was a bit surprised actually when we first arrived on the platform. Previously, it's told us about whatever the cycle is, right? There's like a 3-turn loop of trains imminently are about to arrive, being at the platform and then leaving, and that kind of repeats. But when we first got there, there was no mention of a train. And then in the second message, there was no mention of a train either, apart from us being pushed onto the platform.
No, I thought there was a message because it
Onto the
said
rails.
it will turn up intermittently about every 3 minutes.
Yeah, but that's just in the main description. And then previously there'd been a secondary message to tell us the specific current status of the trains coming and going. Anyway, okay, let's try this again. Let's swim through the large warp. So we're back in Dr. Roach's apartment. There's a fish ton here. Now, if I search the fish ton, you find a travel pass. We now have the travel pass. The wall behind your fish ton glows, revealing the face of the principal secretary. Good morning, Dr. Roach, he says. I'm sorry to call so early. I just want to confirm that the principal is expecting you at 10 o'clock this morning. Goodbye. So it doesn't actually even say where. And then there's the jingle, the Hydropolis Telecommunications Network jingle, HDN. With your friends you can talk and you won't have to walk, HDN.
I mean, presumably that's principal is normally school related. So is that the principal of the university where we're doing our research?
You'd imagine so, yeah. Let's get our Fisher facts anyway.
If we get on the train, Chris, are we going to find like a fish university or school station or something like that?
Let's go find out.
Okay, sounds good.
Was there anything else that we need to take from the apartment apart from our Fisher facts and the travel pass?
Don't think so.
Okay, I'm putting my hand on the print. With a loud whoosh, the door flies up into the ceiling. And then I think we can just go south to the landing. Shall I close it again? Oh, which one? Put hand on silver print. The door shoots down from the ceiling, just missing your tail. And then we can go down to the lobby. Exit out to Paddlington is to the south. So we go south. Paddlington, east to the underground station. A group of students swim by with what looks like the principal. So maybe that's the principal we're supposed to be meeting.
Can we follow them?
It doesn't say which way they go. And we know that follow doesn't work.
Or can we talk to the students? Can we talk to the principal?
Out.
This looks like one of those random messages there, doesn't it? That just gets appended onto the description. So, like, we see Steve, or we see, you know, I'm not sure that they're here.
No, I think they've already left as well. They swim by. I also can't spell principal.
You can. You've just spelt the wrong principal.
Yes. Okay, I think we just go down. So we're now on the platform. Oh, actually, we're here on the platform and we also don't get this message yet either. So let's just wait. Okay, so now we feel a gusting current from the tunnel as the train clatters into the station. The doors open. So let's enter train. You squeeze your way, sardine-like, onto the train with the other commuters. Tube, always busy. The tube trains are packed solid with guppies. Blah, blah, blah. A pike stops the doors closing to allow his aggressive mates on. Then the train rushes off into the tunnel. So now we should go past Barbican, right? Barbican. Should we try getting off again?
Might as well try.
Exit train at Barbican. You try to push your way through to the doors, but can't quite make it in time. The last few fish, pilchards by the look of them, squeeze onto the train. Mind the doors, it clatters off. The train speeds through the tunnel and clatters into Pickerel. Let's wait. Mind the gap. The train speeds through the tunnel, then clatters into Battersea.
Okay, so Pickerel is where we got off last time, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So Battersea must be in between Pickerel and Eelpout.
I always assumed Eelpout was on a different line.
Oh. Well, should we stay on and see, or should we try and get off at Battersea?
I mean,
Yeah, let's see where it goes.
yeah, I agree with that.
Stay on
does
then.
it back round?
Maybe it does loop. Maybe it's like the circle line. I'll stay on. Mind the gap. The train speeds through the tunnel and clatters into Opar University. Should I stay on? I better go. I just better map this. Just so I remember. So we're still not at Eelpout. How is this going to go? I mean, obviously, I'll join all of these up later, but for now. Okay, so, oops. So we're waiting to see where it goes from Opal University. Clatters into Angel.
Anyone want to guess what the next fish-related food topic would be?
Well, I guess Battersea doesn't need to be changed because it's just got the word batter in it.
Hammerhead Smith.
Yeah, that's good. I love the fact that you went to the batter bit rather than
The sea. Okay. All aboard. The train speeds through the tunnel and clatters into Eel Pout. So Eel Pout is on the same line, but there's quite a lot in between.
But also, we're now on the train in Eel Pout.
Yes, that's true. Oh, in fact, that's up and down, isn't it?
So if we end up back at Paddington, then the train is going the other way around, isn't it?
Well, it's going in a loop, yeah. Yes, I'm gonna have to do some map shenanigans once we figure this out. Museum. Well, that wasn't expected. No one had museum.
It's a rubbish pun, that's why. And by rubbish, I mean not a pun.
We were literally in a pub called the Museum last weekend, but in a different city to where you are, Mike.
When do we get to Drowning Street?
Sorry, Willie?
Said, when do we get to Drowning Street?
Oh, Drowning Street. Brilliant.
Very good, very good.
Oh, come on. Okay. The train speeds through the tunnel, then clatters into Paddington. Okay. So, yes, this is going to take some tweaking. Clearly. However, where should we explore next?
What's the time?
It's 9:30.
Should we try to go to university and see the principal?
Yeah, I think we should.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Although I've just got this feeling that we're going to get turned away for not wearing a tie or something like that.
We have our tatty card. Surely that's enough.
Yeah, but that would be progress. That would be a puzzle we have to solve. Because at the moment we're just tube hopping.
Oh, I need to get off here. Platform. Okay, we're on the platform without being thrown under the next train. This is progress too. Okay, let's go up. Opar Station. Oh, it looks like we have a new image. Commuters are busily swimming up and down the access funnel, etc., etc. You can leave the station through the exit to the east. Ah, it's the same image that we had before of commuters and the fish-faced guard. So let's go east. Opar. We have another image by the looks of it. If things want learning in Hydropolis, then Opar University is where they get learned. The university disco to the north is in the middle of a hop-till-you-drop rag week stunt with schools of tired students swimming in and out to the heavy 4/4 beat. An expensive restaurant lies to the south. Have you made a reservation? No? Too bad. It's very popular. An impressive archway leads east into the university itself. You can return to Opar Tube Station by going west. A statue of the university founder is in the middle of the quad. And the image is of a quadrangle, so a grassy space surrounded on at least 3 sides by buildings with a statue of a fish person in the middle of it. But it's kind of too distant in the image for us to really get a sense of what the statue looks like.
I mean, surely that should be the flounder of the university.
Oh, missed a trick. They don't miss many. Let's look at the statue.
I'm guessing the earplugs and sunglasses would come in handy for the disco, so we don't lose the host-parasite interface.
That's a good shout. We could even test it by going in there now. The statue has I've just done an examine statue. The statue has the university motto, Scientia est bona, engraved underneath.
Science is good?
I presume so.
That's what it means.
Science is good, yeah?
Do you want to map anything, Chris? Have we...
Yeah. Somewhere. Oh, so did we go east? We went east out of let me just see if I can remember how this went. I'm going to put this down here a bit.
Okay, so when you came off the platform, you were at Opus Station, and then you went east.
Yes, that's right. And there's a disco to the north, right?
We're not getting the proper 1980s feel because we should be mapping this all by hand and then absolutely cursing when we realise we've got it completely wrong and we just have to like rub it all out or start a new piece of paper.
I know, what an absolute joy this is. In fact, there's a bunch of presets for different like line styles and room shapes, and that there is a hand-drawn version as well. So it looks as if you've drawn it all by hand.
I'm trying to remember what the first adventure was that I played that had an auto map feature?
It might have been didn't Spellcasting 101 by Legend. I remember that. Did something like that. It had a very different, had a graphical interface as well. Okay, yeah, so we can actually put these back, can't we? And this is the university proper this way. And there's a statue.
Does this mapping count as our time? Because we're going to be late for this meeting.
Thank God it is like turn based, not real time. I mean, I think there are examples of real time adventure games, but that basically if you don't type anything for like 15 seconds, it automatically says wait.
Yeah. It says a lot about the developers. The kids.
Yes, there were not many neurotypical people working in games development in the 80s. What should we do? Where should we go? Into the university, or should we go and test Woody's theory about the disco?
I think we should try and make the meeting. Let's see if we can find the principal's office.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, another image. University foyer. The foyer is lined with ancient busts of important-looking fish from the university's past. An ugly bunch of egg-headed reprobates if ever you saw some. West, an impressive arch will take you out of the university. A corridor continues east, and a metal door blocks any access to the north. The principal's office is to the south. We're early.
Well, go there and wait.
Yeah. So it's showing us an image of the foyer, which looks very grand with kind of Doric columns and large paintings on the walls. And there's little plinths with busts on. And one's kind of in the foreground. And it does indeed look like an ugly reprobate. Kind of fish-faced, bald-headed man. So what should we do?
Yeah, you can see what time it is. I wonder whether the metal door is held on by screws.
Because I don't think we're that early. I think
9:43. Examine metal door. The metal door remains closed to all except those who are authorized. There is a slot next to it. It is closed. I mean, we are the leader of the project.
Yep.
What was further east? A corridor continues east. We could just go down the corridor and see what else is here.
Yeah,
I've done it already.
Just going and seeing the principal and waiting because
Okay.
people like to get swept up with something and then we still miss our appointment.
All right. Okay. Yes. Well, there's always a chance that something untoward's going to happen at any moment. But yeah, I have gone east, just down the corridor, and it says corridor. Windows line the north wall of this corridor, which continues east and west. They look out onto the quad and stream light onto an archway which leads south to the library. So let me just put these into the map.
Is it a minute per turn? Is that how the time works?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. For some reason I thought it was 5 minutes per turn, which is why I thought we were further along.
Oh, if it was 5 minutes per turn, then yeah, we wouldn't be doing this. So it's south of the library, huh? Oh. And east to somewhere else. Ah. Yeah.
And from that corridor, wasn't it north with some windows and then a quad?
Yeah, there's a quad to the north, but I don't think we can go north from the corridor.
Okay.
I think we're just looking outside through the windows.
You could potentially smash the window, but that's...
We could. I mean, I can add a location. Should we carry on east just to see where it goes? Are people happy to use our time?
Yeah, go with it.
You couldn't put our tatty card in the slot, could you?
I could try. So we've got a new image. And east is corridor still. My worm, it's dark in this corridor. A metal door to the east prevents you from swimming directly into your laboratory, and the corridor returns west. And then there's an image showing a long corridor with big arched windows on the left-hand side, with the quad behind it. And at the end of the corridor is an arched door, which I guess is closed, but we must be able to open it. So let's just add that in here. So that is also corridor, and this is our lab. Oh. Hope you can see this all right. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit.
It doesn't say that the door is locked. It just says
that
it's just closed, I guess.
Yes, it just says door, so I haven't made it locked. The metal door. Sorry.
That's one thing that's odd is that we are currently on 243 points. Now, the last time that we played it through, we got to 243 points when we left the apartment, but we then got to 256 points when we got to Paddlington. We've been through Paddlington and we didn't score those points. So I wonder if there was something else that we did that
Well,
actually...
the fish didn't get stolen.
So, say that again, Lee.
We let the fish ton get stolen. I wonder whether that's because we earned some money.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, if you're right, if we got those points from just getting to Paddlington, obviously we did some other things, like we got a snifter, and that's pretty much all we did.
No, we definitely got the points before we got off the train again.
Okay.
It might just be me not getting the correct timing and realizing the points had gone up when we'd got to Paddlington, and therefore assuming it was getting to Paddlington that got us the points. But it could have been talking to the police. It could have been...
But if only we had a way of like replaying our game and seeing what actually occurred.
Indeed.
All right, that's homework for next time. I look at the door. The metal door will not open to unauthorized persons. There is a slot next to it. It is closed. So put Tatty card in. Actually, before I do any of this, I'm going to look at our watch because it's now 9:48. Oh, no, I'm gonna put Tatty card in slot.
We should save at some point as well.
There are a few beeps and buzzes, then the card is ejected. It looks like you need authorization from the principal. Have we been locked out of our own lab?
But we have a meeting with the principal
Now.
Yeah. But maybe you can tell us that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna save before we go into the principal's office then. So I've just gone west a couple of times back to the foyer. I'm gonna save it over our previous save game. I'm keeping the one before we even enter Hydropolis, obviously. Okay. Let's just do a final exam watch. 9:52. Okay, I've gone south into the principal's office. Good morning, doctor, says the principal as she closes the door and takes a seat. I'm sorry if this is inconvenient, but it's an emergency. It seems this talk about parasiting may not be speculation. We've received information that a junior member of your team has been taken over and has sabotaged the project. You don't need me to tell you that this could be disastrous for Hydropolis. Naturally, I've suspended everyone until further notice. You're the only one I can trust. I want you to investigate. I'm going to the government to inform them of the danger. I'm not evacuating, so don't worry. I'll be back tomorrow. She gets up. Now please hurry, doctor. There's not a second to lose. You walk back to the foyer together, then go your separate ways. University foyer.
And I think our score has gone up.
And I think that's one of the first female characters we've had in the game.
There wasn't a secretary.
There was a secretary on the call, yes.
Okay.
I'm wholeheartedly behind you, Rosie. I have noticed that too.
But yeah, I mean, at least it's the principal.
Well, it was the 80s, we didn't have women back then.
Apart from in the most senior positions in universities, apparently.
Yeah, quite right.
All right, so we need to investigate. A junior member of your team has been taken over and has sabotaged the project. So, well, who do we think that could be?
Chubb. Was that Chubb in the pub?
Chubb in the pub. Pub Chubb.
Sorry, I got the opposite feeling. It's us, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's got to be us.
we are literally, we have been taken over. We're being controlled.
Yeah, but we haven't sabotaged anything.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, maybe.
We know that. We know that this is all real and that people are being taken over because that's what we're doing. But yes, we're presumably she's talking about the Finns have taken over someone. Chubb and sabotaged the project.
Didn't we encounter another colleague when we were...
There was a Simon.
Simon Tench.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So this is like a whodunit then. One of these people is a Finn in disguise.
How many people are we going to have to get drunk?
All of them.
Maybe that's why we need the big canister. Okay, should we try the northern door?
Well, I was going to say, did we get authorization? Let's try to see if we've got authorization to enter our lab. Because I don't think we will have. I think we
might just be to keep us out until we'd met the principal.
That's true, but it might also just be a mechanic to keep us out of our lab until we've solved the puzzle and the principal has agreed with it and then lets us in.
Well, I've gone back to the door and I'm putting the tatty card in the slot again. I tried just opening the door and it said, try putting an identity card in the slot. That's how these doors work. So That's promising. The card fits neatly into the slot. After a few reassuring buzzes, the door slides open smoothly and the card is returned to your waiting hand.
Yay!
And I think our score's gone up again. So yes, Lee was right. It's just held closed until we've had the conversation with the principal. So let's open the door then. Open the door, but the metal door is already open. After allowing time for someone to pass, the door closes. Brilliant.
Are we inside or outside?
Outside. I tried opening a door that was already open, and the time it took me to figure out that I couldn't open a door that was already open, the door shut.
Checks out.
Just like real life, isn't it?
I mean, it was open for an entire minute.
Okay, so I've just opened the door again, and then afterwards it says, a student sidles up to you. We've got the principal, he whispers. If you don't donate to Rag Week, we'll let her go. You hastily decide to give them all your loose change, then realise you have none. They refuse to take your credit card and swim off laughing. Okay, I'm just walking in this time. I'm not going to try and open an open door. There's a new image. Laboratory. This lab is exceptionally clean. Dr. Roach must be remarkably fastidious. The water is constantly decontaminated and recycled to protect the project. To protect the project equipment and your terminal from damage by grit, fluff and dirt. Exits are northeast, southeast and west through the metal door to the corridor. After allowing time for someone to pass, the door closes. Oh, okay. So the image shows a fish person hunched over some lab gear on a table, like reactor vessels and what looks like a big canister of gas. But for the first time, we can actually see a fish person in some detail, and they're basically like mermaids, I guess. They're human from the waist up, and they have fish tails, and everyone's floating around, I guess, swimming through all of these locations, even though they're all laid out as if it was people walking around and not floating.
Which begs the question, is that us in that image?
Mm.
In other words, because everyone's swimming, you can just as easily be above the table than in front of it? Or is that someone who's been trussed up?
Well, I think it's, I'm guessing because they have a lab coat on, I'm guessing that it's a lab technician who's working on the experiment rather than someone who is part of the experiment, and their strange body shape is because they are sort of, if you can hunch over something whilst swimming, that's kind of what it looks like to me they're doing.
Looks a bit Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Which would make that Walter Whiteby. Thanks. Sorry.
That's excellent.
But because it doesn't mention anyone else being here, and the door was locked. So are we sure that's not us?
Yeah, that's a good point. We're not completely sure that's not us. I think it probably is us. But let's have a look and see if it mentions anyone else. There's also quite a few exits here, right? There's northeast, southeast as well. So let's examine equipment. There is no such equipment. Okay. Well, let's examine the project. You can't see a project here.
Project equipment.
All right, so two negatives you think are going to make a positive here. It doesn't recognize either of those words, but maybe it recognizes both of them. There is no such project equipment. No, sorry. X Lab. It's the same.
Terminal.
Examine terminal. The project terminal gives team members access to the university computer. Okay. Can we just try use terminal? Please phrase as use object to verb another object. Okay. Use terminal to
Access university computer.
Yeah, I'm thinking like look up Chubb or like access records of Chubb or something. Or access computer maybe. There is no such access terminal. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that there's nobody else here. It would have informed us that someone was here. So we could try going in the other directions and seeing what else is nearby. So if we go northeast, we have another image. This is where all the images are. We're in the project room. Considering how important this place is for the future of all fish kind, you are stunned by how little has been done to make it look significant. A lick of paint, although distasteful for the fish licking it on, wouldn't have gone amiss. The only exit is southwest. The device almost fills the room, looking like an aquarium filled with multicoloured gravel.
Is there a new photo or picture?
There is. It actually looks a bit like a data center, except the racks, they're kind of, glass-sided, and it's full of multicoloured gravel in the middle of it. But there's like there's an office desk and a chair and a terminal and a chart on the wall. It very much looks like a computer data center. Let's have a look at the device. Dr. Roach certainly knows how to build impressive machines. This one nearly fills the project room. It looks a bit like a huge aquarium filled to the brim with multicoloured gravel. And if you and Sir Playfair have anything to do with it, it's going to save Hydropolis from water evaporation. It almost fills the room, looking like an aquarium filled with multicoloured gravel. It contains a stream accelerator. Examine the accelerator. The stream accelerator accelerates particles gathered by the main project machine. There is a lock screw on it.
Which is why we need that screwdriver we found.
Yeah, that hyperdriver.
Hyperdriver.
I've got a note that the normal screwdriver is for lock screws and the hyperdriver is for all screws, but I might have got that wrong.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around.
I'm going to try and get the accelerator. Even levering with a hoe and rake tied together won't budge this one. A hoe and rake tied together. That's a reference to another text adventure game. I think that was in a level 9 game. Tying the hoe and rake together with some rope.
It's 8 o'clock, by the way.
Ah, okay. Should we just look in that other location, which might be... Let's just go southwest into the lab, and then southeast, wasn't it? Southeast is the storeroom. Even though Dr. Roach is very clean and tidy, the same cannot be said of the rest of the team. They've made this the messiest storeroom in the university, and it's always left for you to straighten things out. All the equipment and spares needed for the project are usually stashed here, with a wall chart keeping track of what's in and out of stock. The only exit leads northwest. There is a protocopier here. Okay, I need to map all of this stuff. but maybe I'll do that off stream. Is there anything that anyone would like to do just before we say goodbye?
Can we look at the wall chart very quickly?
Yeah.
And maybe examine the protocopier.
Can I also say that I think protocopier is a much better name than 3D printer?
The wall chart is an informal record of the equipment held in store for the project. Let's read it. Ooh, if we read wall chart, it says A, filter out of stock, B, photon bridge out of stock, C, focus wheel out of stock, D, tuned crystal out of stock, E, suitable case out of stock, F, shelf out of stock, G, wall plan 1 in stock.
That sounds like a task list in an adventure game for us to find.
So we know where the shelf. We could get the shelf from our apartment using the screwdriver made.
Yes. And a suitable case?
Yeah, the radio case. Haven't we already found the focus wheel? Wasn't that from one of the small warps?
Yeah, so I think the focus wheel was what you make out of the 3 pieces that we found previously, right? The spindle, the grommet. But we don't know what happened. I guess Playfair has it. It does seem that the plot's thickening, though, doesn't it?
It's now like a fairly runny gruel.
Yeah. Custard stains.
Do we want to look at the protocopier before we disappear?
Okay, yes, let's do that. The protocopier is a large box with a slot on one side and a simple on-off switch, where you would expect one, built by Dr. Salmon as a prototype device. While it is indeed remarkable, the university authorities took a different view for 2 reasons. The protocopier used so much power that fuel bills reached record levels, and secondly, it could only teleport in a very small amounts of water. It was the downfall of Dr. Salmon. He was fired by the principal. Oh, I wonder if that actually says it could only teleport in very small amounts of water. It also says built by Dr. Salmon as a prototype device, where device is a capital D, and it's already mentioned a device as a real noun, as being the big aquarium thing that's full of gravel. So maybe this protocopier is a prototype of what the device is, but this protocopier can only teleport in very small amounts of water, whereas the device that we've built is designed to teleport in huge amounts.
So were we traveling through this proto thingy in the fish tank?
I don't think so. I think the warping thing doesn't exist on Hydropolis. I think the warping thing is a technology that is owned by interdimensional beings who use it, such as we are and such as the 7 deadly fins are. But the fish people on Hydropolis don't know about warping or host parasite interfaces and things like that.
And it seems like the crisis that Hydropolis is in is about water evaporating, is it? So
yeah.
Teleporting in more water is going to save Hydropolis.
Yeah, and so presumably the fins have taken over the body of one of our assistants and have sabotaged the device by getting rid of all of these things that are out of stock.
Yeah.
Well, these are the spares, aren't they? So if they've taken them off of the device and they've taken all the spares, so we basically need to repair the device by getting all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon so.
So a couple of things. Firstly, Dr. Salmon is a possible culprit. He got fired, so
motive.
Involved? He's got motive. And yeah, the other thing is that there are two ways of reading that sentence. So it could only teleport in very small amounts of water. In other words, it teleports water, but only a small amount. Or it could only teleport in very small amounts of water, which is the way that I'd first read it. In other words, if it's in a small amount of water, it can teleport. If it's in a big amount of water, it can't teleport. But
yeah, that's exactly that. As I read it the first time, that's how I read it. That it could only teleport in very small amounts of water, and so as it's all submerged, it's completely useless. But then I realised that it probably means it could only teleport in very small amounts of water, because the former makes no sense at all. Oh, but does it? Because not a lot makes a hell of a lot of sense in this game. So we're doing our best here, eh?
Who knows?
All right, folks. On that note, I think I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to save the game. I'm going to make a better map, and we can't play next Monday. I'm afraid. I'm not in the country, so we'll have to wait 2 weeks before we figure out what to do with all of this new information. But look after yourselves, everybody, until then, and we'll see you soon. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.